All men, no matter their age, can be drawn closer to you if you understand how to reach them in the right way. It's not an exaggeration, it's a blend of biology, psychology, and emotion working together. A man's desire isn't only hidden in his body, it's deeply rooted in his mind. When you learn where and how to touch him, you don't just spark his physical attraction. You awaken something ancient, something primal, something that makes him see you as the only woman who truly understands him. Physical connection after 50 isn't about perfection or performance. It's about presence, softness, and rediscovering your natural feminine energy, the kind that doesn't fade with time, but grows deeper, wiser, and more magnetic with age. Most women believe that men only respond to the obvious, but the truth is quite the opposite. The most powerful touches are the ones he least expects, the quiet, gentle moments that reach his heart before they ever reach his body. Today, you'll learn about 3 simple yet profound places that can change how a man feels about you. These aren't just spots on his skin, they are emotional gateways that build trust, intimacy, and connection. Each touch tells him a story, that he's safe, seen, and desired. Let's begin with the first place every man secretly longs to be touched, the back of his neck. The back of the neck is one of the most underestimated yet powerful areas of the male body. It's a bridge between strength and vulnerability, between leadership and surrender. It's not just a piece of skin, it's a pathway directly connected to the nerves that communicate safety, comfort, and pleasure. When your fingers glide gently from his hairline down to the nape of his neck, something inside him shifts. Without words, you tell him, you can let go now. That small, mindful touch carries more meaning than 1,000 words. It tells him he doesn't always need to be in control, that with you, he can finally exhale. Men spend most of their lives leading, protecting, and solving. When you touch the back of his neck softly, you're giving him permission to just be, to feel. The key is in the gentleness. You're not grabbing or rubbing, you're barely there. A whisper of a touch, light enough to make his skin tingle and his spine shiver. This isn't about intensity, it's about intention. If you lean close while doing it, letting your breath brush near his ear, your energy will surround him in a warmth he won't forget. That subtle contact sends ripples of calm and desire at the same time. And when he remembers that feeling, he'll crave it again, not just the touch, but the peace that came with it. When you've opened that door of trust, you can take the connection even deeper. The next spot is smaller, subtler, yet even more powerful, the inside of his wrist. This tiny area, where his pulse beats closest to the surface, carries a deep kind of intimacy. It's often overlooked, yet it holds a special kind of power. Touching him there isn't about seduction, it's about closeness. The inside of the wrist is filled with nerve endings and warm blood flow. When your finger traces that soft skin, you're not just touching him, you're touching his heartbeat. It's as if you're saying, I feel you. I'm here with you. Men rarely experience gentle, lingering touch that isn't sexual. Their world is full of quick gestures, handshakes, pats on the back, brief hugs. So, when your hand lingers softly on his wrist, it catches him off guard. It tells him this moment is different. This isn't a demand, it's a connection. Try it during a quiet moment, at dinner, over coffee, or while sitting together. As you talk, let your fingers gently trace the inside of his wrist. Don't hold or squeeze. Just a slow, light touch. You'll notice how he pauses, how his breath changes, how his gaze deepens. That's his body recognizing something rare, true presence. When you touch him where his pulse lives, you align your energy with his. It's not just a physical gesture, it's a silent conversation between your hearts. It says, I see you, I feel you, and I'm connected to you. The beauty of this kind of touch is in its simplicity. It turns an ordinary moment into something sacred. The warmth of your skin against his pulse creates a rhythm, two energies syncing together in harmony. This kind of touch makes him remember you not as someone who reached for him, but as someone who truly felt him. And once you've built this emotional connection, you're ready for the third place, one that bridges comfort, protection, and passion. The small of his back. This spot holds both power and tenderness. It's where stability meets sensitivity, where his instinct to protect meets his need to feel wanted. Touching him there tells him something deeper. I'm with you. I trust you. In public, it's grounding. In private, it becomes electric. A simple touch on the small of his back while walking past him or standing close sends a signal that's impossible to ignore. It's both comforting and claiming, not in a possessive way, but in a way that reminds him he's seen, admired, and desired. The lower back carries nerve pathways that connect directly to the spine and hips, the core of his physical strength. When your touch lands there, it activates both security and desire. A light palm against that space tells him he can relax, and at the same time, it stirs something primal. He may not say a word, but his body will lean into your touch, drawn instinctively toward you. It's not about control, it's about trust, connection, and presence. When done gently, this single touch can remind him of passion, safety, and belonging, all at once. The small of his back is more than just a physical spot, it's an emotional symbol. When your hand finds that space just above his waist, it speaks a language older than words, a mix of grounding, guidance, and desire. In public, a light touch there quietly says, I feel safe with you. In private, it whispers, I want you. The warmth of your hand resting there builds a bridge between comfort and attraction. You'll notice how he instinctively straightens, how his posture shifts, how his body leans closer without thought. That's the natural response to connection. He's not being controlled, he's responding to a feeling of being seen, trusted, and desired. For a man who's spent years being strong, leading, and providing, that moment feels like a homecoming. It reminds him that even after decades, he can still be wanted, still be moved, still be alive in someone's touch. Once you understand how to use these subtle gestures, you'll start to see that true intimacy isn't about grand moments or constant passion. It's about presence, the way you move, the way you look at him, the way you allow silence to breathe between you. Sometimes, the most powerful touch doesn't even involve your hands at all. It comes from your eyes, your tone, your pause before speaking. This invisible touch is what keeps love alive long after the first spark fades. There's another delicate place that holds a different kind of power, the edge of his jawline. It's where admiration meets desire. A man's jaw is a symbol of his strength, yet when you trace along it gently, you touch something deeper, the soft vulnerability beneath that strength. When your fingers glide slowly along the side of his jaw, you're telling him, I see you, not just the protector, but the person beneath. For many men, especially as they grow older, being seen in that way feels transformative. They spend years being defined by what they do, but your touch reminds him of who he is. The jawline is sensitive, firm yet responsive. When your touch lingers there, just close enough for him to feel your breath, it sparks something primal. It's a quiet mix of respect and invitation. You're not taking control, you're creating anticipation. That small pause between your touch and his reaction becomes a moment suspended in time. He feels the power of your presence, not rushed, not forced, but intentional. When your eyes meet his during that touch, the world around you fades for a second. That's the kind of intimacy that doesn't rely on words. It's silent, powerful, unforgettable. Then there's a final, subtle place where emotion and tension meet, his lower lip. The edge of anticipation. You don't have to kiss him right away. Instead, just let your finger trace the curve of his lower lip, soft and unhurried. That tiny, daring gesture is enough to change the rhythm between you. His breath will catch. His thoughts will stop. And in that stillness, he'll feel something he hasn't felt in years, the thrill of wanting, mixed with the calm of being wanted. The lower lip is full of nerve endings that send instant signals to the brain's pleasure centers, but what makes this moment powerful isn't biology, it's restraint. You're showing him that you could take it further, but you choose not to, not yet. That's where true desire lives, in the pause, not the rush. When you can hold that space, close enough to feel his warmth but just out of reach, you create something unforgettable. He won't remember the words you said, but he'll remember how that silence felt, how your energy surrounded him, how your confidence filled the air. Because in that instant, you're not performing. You're present. You're completely in control of your energy, and that confidence is what draws him in more than anything else. But the deepest connection of all doesn't even come from touch, it comes from awareness. The way you listen. The way you look at him and truly see him. That's the invisible touch that lingers long after the physical fades. When you can sit in silence together, and he feels your warmth without needing a word, that's real intimacy. It tells him he's safe, accepted, and still deeply desired. When you bring all of these touches together, the neck, the wrist, the small of his back, the jawline, and the lower lip, you're not just stirring physical attraction. You're awakening devotion. These gestures remind him that desire doesn't disappear with time, it deepens. It becomes more meaningful. More intentional. True passion after 50 isn't about youth or perfection, it's about presence, awareness, and the courage to show your softness. So, when you next reach for him, do it slowly. Touch him with meaning, not habit. Let your fingertips carry care instead of hurry. When you do, you'll see his body relax, his eyes soften, and his heart open again. That's the quiet magic of touch. It doesn't just awaken desire, it rebuilds trust. It says, I still see you. I still choose you. And when a man feels that, he doesn't just remember the moment, he remembers you. Because the power of a woman's touch isn't about technique. It's about presence, patience, and love. That's what keeps passion alive, no matter how many years have passed.